Hyperlight Drifter is a very important game for me and the channel to a certain extent, and the couch co-op indie scene. It was reviewed by my good self on the top 25 list and it made it to number 16. There's only 15 more couch co-op games on the planet that are better than it. It's one hell of a campaign. A lot of people don't even know it's local co-op. Beautiful look, and it's from a very cool studio who are actually quite interesting to look at under a microscope. I am Couch Coop, by the way, and I want to just cover these 3 games that we've got coming out of the studio. Obviously we've had Hyperlight Drifter already release and be out for a number of years. I think it's 2016. Also brilliant Switch port. We've had something else release recently from the studio under the name of Solar Ash. I got it confused with Hyperlight Breaker, which is something we'll look at the end of the video. Solar Ash is only single player, but it's released on PlayStation 4, 5, and it got a Game Pass day 1. So let's take a closer look at it. And don't sleep on Hyperlight Drifter, super cheap at the moment, and as I said, one of the best 2-player Zelda early retro-like campaigns. Yep, you are on a pair of Jet Set Radio roller skates and you're literally on the cloud tops. Well, the ground feels like it's got some give to it. It's a strange looking game. They've stuck to the palette with a lot of the Hyperlight Drifter material, but I'm kind of devastated it's not local co-op. And the confusion around this and Hyperlight Breaker, I think they're both female main protagonists and the colour palettes are very similar, so average Joe on the street is not to know that this isn't their top new game that they're coming out with this year. I think Breaker's coming out towards the end of the year, don't quote me on it, but what a strange stopgap and what a strange little game. It's not as combat heavy as I'd like it to be, and it's extremely puzzle heavy. You're talking wall running and double jumping, dashing over gaps, unlocking particular areas. That's not a game loop I'm particularly keen on. I like a more combat heavy model, but as you can see with these visuals, these flowing mechanics, it kind of works. And Game Pass day 1, I mean, easy choice.
My planet. It's in the Ultravoid's pull. But it's not too late. This is Ray. Can any Void Runners hear me?
You're given a relatively vast open area with tasks that you can do at your own pace, and you can see up on the top left there's 1 hit at the moment on death, so it's not that easy a game. You can walk around and find the various shield modules to put in to give you an almost 2 hit, but this is something that people who like sort of harder puzzle based or even reactionary based arcade style platforming might actually enjoy this. There is combat. It is okay. You've got a nice slash. It's very quick and you can sort of queue it up. I haven't opened any additional moves on that front yet, but there's just not enough of it. They do remind me of the Risk of Rain things. And Astral Chain has a similar system with the boss fights. The boss fights will be aimed for a particular vulnerable spot. Once you get close enough, you can sort of winch in and do a death blow. It's quite satisfying. It's quite cutscene-y though. Also get some Gravity Rush vibes from it. That's mainly with the palette and the enemy design. They've got these like white bone sections on them, and also the pace and speed of it all. It's very smooth. You feel quite free. You can't fly. There's that line of quality within this, so it's not a terrible game by any stretch, and it's only 2 GB. It's just not my cup of tea with that gameplay model. audience, you're probably thinking, it looks alright, I don't get what your beef is. It's to do with a sort of trial and error system. When you're a YouTube reviewer of video games and you have to redo a section that's got a front end to it that isn't close to the problem section, you have to just keep going through, it takes the edge off the enjoyment of the game. Normal players don't normally get this because problem solving is part of the game structure for them. But as a reviewer, you want to get through things, you need to get things done, and it can get very frustrating if you're just put back to square one again. For its size, it's doing a really good job, and it's running beautifully. It's at 1080, but I've got 60 frames and I've got top settings. The game never stuttered, and some of the boss fights and almost platinum-like arena boss fights where you're riding on the back of them, the whole map's following you around, it takes that on board really well.
Two down. There must be one more.
Is extremely different from Hyperlight Drifter, and the main reason I took this on board was because of the developer and their local co-op brilliant heritage. This is not something I would proactively go to, but I was pleasantly surprised at its differences with the original game, and it's also got me thinking about Hyperlight Breaker and how fluid and amazing that's going to be. Is there an economy? Yes. Did I spend enough time with it? No. You can see the number up there on the top left, 709. That's kind of like the little souls you're collecting, and you can get that green bar to go the whole way round. There will be projectile weapons, and you get power-ups on that winch move. So there's a lot more than what I'm showing you. I just wanted to make the distinction between this, Hyperlight Breaker, and Hyperlight Drifter. Blatantly looks a step up from Solar Ash and even Hyperlight Drifter. Did you notice the gearbox icon there? So they're under that wing now, which might give them added extra budget. Also, I get a Battleborn vibe with this animation, right? Also talks about early access in spring 2023, which I haven't seen go past. It might be something on Steam, but this is something I am going to snap up as soon as we get closer to that initial release date, and then may even dig up some actual gameplay footage that might help Coop and go through that. But I don't really want to make any predictions at this stage. I just want to make it clear that the studio is awesome. Hyperlight Drifter is excellent. Solar Ash is definitely worth a look in preparation for Breaker. I have been Couch Coop, but we'll see you down there.